thanks for joining me today. Can you just tell me your name, your job title, and what you do at UP3?
So I'm Georg Holzer. I'm a technical account manager across multiple customers at UP3. My job is really to help customers understand what they've got, what they've invested in, and how to utilize it and get the most out of ServiceNow as a platform. I'm
going to ask you a few questions about AI. What barriers to AI adoption have you come across when dealing with customers, and why do you think this is?
So the biggest issue people have is really understanding what they mean by AI. It's such a buzzword that most people don't really know what they're talking about. A lot of the conversations I have is really about trying to get them to understand where it can be useful to them and where their use cases are. The biggest blocker to all of that is really getting those use cases. You know, there's always been the big thing about using it for summarization and creating content, but a lot of people think in ServiceNow that it's all about just the ticket or the case or incident that you're working on, and that's where it helps you. But actually what we're seeing is really a wider use case where you can start using unstructured data that's coming into the platform or you already have in the platform to then formulate a response or an action based on what you're seeing. So where we'd normally use flows and workflows and business rules to drive an outcome, we can now actually ingest information and make a decision on that. And it doesn't have to be overly structured. And then we can then use that information and the answers to those decisions to then go and drive an outcome.
How can an organization get ready to start uncovering AI opportunities? So where do they begin?
Well, it's really coming up with a strategy and understanding what they want from it, really getting down to the crux of what are the challenges they're facing across the business, where do people spend a lot of time and effort doing low-level work, and then you're able to then use that information to uncover proper use cases. And proper use cases is really, really important. It allows us to really find out how we can help a business become more efficient using this technology.
And how can UP3 specifically, as a partner of ServiceNow, help organizations get started with AI?
I think the big thing that we have, and one of our advantages is that we really embed ourselves in businesses. We really get into a business. We meet and greet people. We are almost part of the teams across all functions. We understand where their challenges are. We understand what they're struggling with. And then using that information that we obviously, through all of our conversations, we really can find the challenges that they face. We start seeing the inefficiencies and the struggles they have just through basic conversations. And then that allows us to then work with them to find those really good use cases, which it can be helped and driven by AI.
So would you say that UP3 help organizations understand specifically where they can use AI that they might not have thought of?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. But also on top of that, it's not always that we, as throughout those conversations, we're finding those challenges and those issues that they have. Mm-hmm. We're able to use that to help them find use cases for the AI, but also help them find use cases to overcome a lot of different challenges. It's just embedding yourself and really getting to the nuts and bolts of what those challenges are.
And how would you challenge an organization who is reticent or nervous to implement AI?
I think it's just trying to understand why. Where they think it won't help them. We work quite heavily with a lot of customers that are sort of nervous about taking it on and trying to find where it could help them. The issue really is where they don't quite understand where the blockers are within their processes across all the functions. And that's again, that's where we come in, is that because we were constantly having this conversation, seeing how they actually operate, all the way from really low down to all the way to the top, we can really get to the crux of what they're actually trying to achieve as a business, and then we can plug the AI in. It's not all about AI only, it's about understanding where their challenges lie.
Yeah, not using AI as like a sort of plaster, but actually like getting to the nitty-gritty of it. What return on investment can customers expect from AI? I guess specifically working with UP3, but what organizational benefits can it provide them as well?
That's multifaceted, really. So there's the obvious piece around efficiencies. Someone not having to trawl through huge amounts of information or data, and allowing AI to surface summarized information, or let the AI come to decisions for them that they can validate, but actually let something else do that decision making from the front line, and then they can validate, which obviously is the efficiencies there, time saving. What I'm also working on at the moment is a piece around not just about efficiencies, but actually a user experience piece. So where traditionally when you are conversing with a virtual agent or you are using the AI search within the classic AI search within the portal, you're using keyword information, using NLUs to return information to you or trying to understand what someone's asking. I'm working on a piece where we're using Now Assist to actually allow us to understand someone's context and then be able to use that information to go and look through all of our knowledge articles and our catalogs and possible answers and old requests and old incidents to return a better answer. But also what's really nice is actually it's the type of answer it gives you.
Yeah.
It gives you a conversational answer, whereas traditionally it's a one line, do you want to raise a request?
And if you asked it anything extra, it would get a bit confused because it hasn't got that depth of knowledge. What would you say is the return on investment that a customer can expect from AI?
I mean, it's monetary and there's obviously user experience, right? I mean, the return on investment is you're saving people time and they're able to focus more on, this is the classic answers. You're able to focus more on doing the more difficult tasks and you're able to save the time for people. You're able to give them the right information to be able to go and do things, which means you can upskill your staff. They can do more exciting tasks. That's the obvious time saving, which obviously the benefit of that is money saving, right? But I believe that there's a return on investment. It doesn't just have to be monetary. There's that user experience piece that people can actually feel better about what they're conversing with and how they're getting their responses to it. It just makes people more happier to come and interact with the services.
Just better organizational processes, I imagine, and just knowledge
So
around the business, etc. Yeah, exactly. Fab. Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Georg.
Very welcome.